Yo, what's up? Aguaba, bless up, greetings. And welcome back to another episode in ABENA'S world on this Saturday. I believe Saturday is, Tuesday is associated with the moon. I forget which day. It's the Sabbath and all of those things. Rastafari, Jah. Bless up. Greetings, Hotep Aguaba. Yes, and welcome back to the recovery room of racism non-anonymous. With me, Sis Abena, Africa. Africa. A representative from the Voices in the Margins, traumatized, traumatologist, trauma queen, and queen of trauma. On this March, 23rd, I believe, 2013, and the time is 10:22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and like I said, this is another episode in ABENA'S world. Our reality show bringing you the real, raw reality of the life in the margins of this madness. Madness being the impact and the effects of the shit of the system in our lives down here in the margins. Folks surviving in poverty and being of African descent in a system of racism, white supreme lunacy, where badness and nastiness floods the place. Evil folks are living, actively living evil. Evil in the recovery room of Racism Non-Anonymous means European viral infection. Lies. They are living the lies told them, taught them, force-fed them about themselves. And as a result, the behaviors that are reflected, manifested, and acted upon is a hot flipping mess, a bunch of shit, a whole piles of shit. As a narrative family therapist who takes a scatological view of our reality down here in the margins, surviving in economic poverty, and in a cultural environment that is designed to produce badness, nastiness, promote the folks living quote unquote in sin, having been shaped in iniquity. That's what's happening. Like I said on the last video, so this is sort of like a follow-up. The princess is out with her nana, her grandmom anyway, and so we may not be interrupted, but because it's reality and live in ABENA'S world, things may not always be presented in any one fashion, number one. So let me let you know a few things. I think this may be a good time to let you in on a few things about myself as we work to continue to build on and this platform for sharing and raise the voices in the margins. See, I do have always acknowledged that as a representative from the voices in the margins, I am also true to the cause of our liberation. And via unification, utilizing the tool of healthy and effective communication. And as such, it seems to me that it would be useful for me to let you know a few things, communicate to you before as you decide, and you can make an informed decision about whether you want to continue to listen to me. I am multiculturally linguistic, first and foremost. And what that means is I will share information from any one of those cultural styles. For example, having grown up in the hood, in the ghetto, I do speak the language of that culture. So when I say shit in a particular way, in a certain way, I'm coming from my ghetto voice. And I have been part of a scholarly community, culture of scholars and academics, researchers and thinkers, philosophers. I am a philosopher, naturally, you know. And there are times when I will speak from that voice, that cultural linguistic style. And so as opposed to saying the shit, there's a fucking shit going on down in here, I may say the experiences of the people are pretty problematic, and those problems are evident in a particular set of behavioral styles, and you know, something to that effect. You know, as a female woman, yes, goddess energy, that brings a specific culture, and I will delve into and become engrossed in being that spirit energy of a female goddess who comes from an ancient line of orators. And I suspect when I am in those moments, people tend to experience me and describe me as being deep. It's deep. Oh, this is deep. And then they kind of like, I'm not going to go down there. They don't want to go that deep in that rabbit hole, as they have languaged it in European culture. You know, they language things in their cultural style, and there are times when that there will be evidence of my having been exposed to the European culture and their style of communicating, their linguistic style. And so, you know, like some of the terms I may draw from reflect that particular culture. So multiculturally linguistic. Typically, depending on the energy in the moment, it depends on the energy in the moment, it depends on what it is I am discussing, the particulars of the experience will also determine which cultural linguistic style I express it from. For example, if it's a major act of injustice that overwhelms the senses, then you will begin to see the signs of a person who is traumatically stressed out. You know? And when a person is really traumatically stressed out, that means that they are experiencing an overwhelming external threat. And when you kind of experience an external threat, you're backed in a corner, and it seems to be no way out. It's like it just makes no sense, and or it's just so stunning and painful and egregious at the same time. Then you will see the evidence of that in my tone and in my energy. And then the best way for me to express it is to be like gut, honest, gut, real gut, deep down, like down in the gutter shit. And then you start with the gutter talk or the ghetto talk, speak to describe the situation. And I have always recognized that, and as the foam on top of the root beer when I work with folks in the capacity of a counselor, healer, therapist, social worker type clinician. And I would support them with expressing that foam. you know, so that we can begin to move it, so then you get down to the sweet root beer, you know. And so there are times when I may all of a sudden foam up and foam at the mouth. But see how those little connections to words and meanings and concepts and how you apply them within context. So I may begin to quote unquote foam at the mouth and come off real raw. However, like feelings do, emotion is energy in motion. So therefore, feelings come and then they will go. It will pass, and I will calm and speak from a different cultural style. And I would say, being an adult in this system, in this society, in this world, there's a culture of, you know, adults. You know, when grown folks get together, this is the culture that they manifest. These are the things that they do and how they do it and kind of things they think as a group of adults. And so the adult me will also, you know, come forward. And that may be in between periods of extreme pain, because when a person is foaming at the mouth, that usually signals, or even a, you know, animal or somebody's foaming at the mouth, that tends to signal some internal damage is going on or has happened. There's an illness, there's a sickness, something's wrong. you know. So putting that, and I come from and represent from a mental, emotional, and behavioral health aspect of the cells, not the physical aspect. When we talk about and think about foaming at the mouth and illness, that is from a physical perspective. So when we talk about it from a mental health perspective, as I suggested, there are times when, you know, somebody begins to cuss somebody out, they like foaming at the mouth, raging fucking mad, start raging fucking mad, they cuss you the fuck out, and rotten motherfucker, you, there's some bullshit, and it's just got the fucking, starts foaming at the mouth. And that sickness that is being manifest is the traumatic stress of this fucking situation that is going down. Now, I talked in the last video in terms of what traumatic stress is and how it works, especially in the lives of African descendants. Being a woman of African descent in this rotten societal system here in America, this system of fucking democracy and capitalism and so forth and so on, and the building of this quote-unquote great nation of, it's a fucking great nation, all right, it's a great nation of shame as I experience it, and coming from where I'm from and from the view from where I sit and see. It's a nation of shame. It's a pure evil, and it is a viral infection that has spread the planet. And the badness and nastiness, the whole place of flood. That is a song, by the way, by Maccabee and Bakalaksa. I could never catch his name, Bakalaksa or something. Yeah, that's what we're working. That's what we're working to get to. Because if I begin to really unleash from what I experience most time in my natural energy flow when I'm talking about or sharing information, you know, I hold back often in order to, you know, let the foam off a little different way and kind of speak in a cultural linguistic style that is acceptable, that people will listen to. Because of course, if you speak in ghetto language and ghetto speak and all crazy like, then people are not going to listen to you. So that's just the way it is. So you just have to do it. You know, make you want to holler, throw up both your hands, you know. coming from where I'm from. So with that though, I'm gonna check off for now. I just wanted to check in and give you this brief moment in ABENA'S world, a little snippet, 15 minutes. It would be nice, yes, a half an hour at least, if it's a true live reality show. And when we are picked up for that, this is my real reality in the world, you know, in the recovery zone here, in the recovery room of Racism Non-Anonymous. Welcome to my world, ABENA'S world, the life of a trauma queen, where the drama is the trauma, and the drama is a very deep story. That's what a drama is. When we, you know, it's a genre of storytelling. A drama is a very intense, deep, sad, often, a story that triggers that all of the emotions in a very intense fashion. So when I slip into the cultural linguistic style of hood, you know, my foundation, growing up surviving in poverty, my mama, I am the middle child of 5 children to my mama, who became a single parent when I was 4. And again, I'm the 3rd child of 5. And we are pretty much from number 2 down, we are stair steps in age. So if I was 4, the one over me was 5, and the 2 under me was 3 and 2, when my mother became a single parent back in 1964. That type of quote-unquote poverty and experiences that people of African descent had during that time period, when they also had limited, insufficient economic resources to protect, provide for, and be productive, produce what they came to produce. Yes, we're going to have a good day. I think the energy is riding high, the emotion is up, you know, for the moment. Yet feelings come and feelings go. So at any given time, while I am sort of feeling myself in a light, playful, easy, airy energy, at any given moment, a thought will, you know, another thought will float, a connection will be made, you know, in the subconscious mind that will begin to come out and emerge, a part of myself, a part of my story, a part of my reality right here, right now, in this moment of time. And it will switch. Like a quote-unquote drama queen that they have slapped that label on us, women, people of African descent. And so I'm saying, fine, yes, I got drama. The fucking trauma is the goddamn drama. It's the fucking trauma, the shit. Traumatic stress of the human intentional type. The trauma is the drama. And remembering and telling the truth about terrible events are both prerequisites for healing, restoring social order and healing individual victims. And the difficulty people have with listening to the stories of those who have experienced significant amounts of the shit is because we tend to tell our stories in a highly tangential, fragmented, and emotional fashion, because some terrible shit just happened. Some terrible shit is happening. And it is ugly. And the fuck you want us to just try to pretty this shit up to talk to you about what the flip-flop is going on? And then if I don't dress it up and pretty it the fuck up, then you don't listen to me, and you get to call, you know, slap me with all these other flipping labels and shit that suggest you just throw us the fuck away again. I did a blog talk show probably a year ago or so, as I recognize how women of African descent are used in this fucking system, being used as the fertilizer for this planet's fuckery and foolishness, keeping this shit going. And the sad thing, religion as a pillar of this shit and system, seems that sistren of African descent have that thing locked down like a mofo. Religion of Christianity and the Jesus story. And then their behaviors as they sort of walk under that banner proudly is outrageous. And the story is so it's like, ooh, that's when it starts to get difficult. And if you want to help someone who has been harmed from stress, traumatic stress, if you yourself do not experience yourself as having been harmed in the same way, if you see yourself being sort of significantly different from me, possibly you are in, economically speaking, middle to upper middle class, and that would suggest that you have sufficient economic resources to protect yourself. Now, we do know that folk currently in the middle class are being attacked as well, and they are working really hard, and they're forced to work really hard to protect what they have, and many of them have and are losing their shit. I'm just saying, that's one thing, and at the same time, folks underneath of you down here, we ain't even got no more shit to lose. You can maybe downgrade from the big fucking house in the suburbs to a different locale that's less expensive and kind of conserve in that way, but we already down to the least expensive and nowhere else to go. So as y'all fucking move your asses and get knocked down here, they're pushing us further down in the shit. And see, the shit, because it's intentional. Traumatic stress of the human, intentional. The shit is intentional. And it's like, if that does not trigger in you a level of raging foam and that something has to be done about this now. That's because it's not happening to you. Yeah, he who feels it knows it. So I recognize the national, I recognize this as a national epidemic and problem, being, like I said, I'm a traumatized traumatologist, so I am a traumatologist at the same time. And in that role and capacity, I have had the opportunity to work with a tremendous amount of folk to support to understand their stories, to listen to them, to understand what happened, and to assist them in making the changes and beginning the process of healing for themselves. And this is what I still do, and I have just like a ton of information. And there are times, so you see how it just happened. I think it just happened where I went into a particular zone, and then I'm okay, now let me see if I can break this down and break this down piece by piece to help you to understand and to hear the story. Yet when someone has been harmed and they're working to tell us their story and we want to help them, we are patient with them and we help them tell their story. And when a child has been hurt and they're and you say, okay baby, all right, wait a minute, now what did you say? Okay, now calm down, and you begin to ask questions and you begin to soothe and to hear the story in order to be in the best position to help. And although I am a full-grown adult and you do not see the child in me that is crying out to you, sort of, and in fact, I have done sufficient amount of work, mental, emotional, and behavioral work, to move comfortably with myself, within myself, being myself at any given moment in time, allowing the energy to sort of flow free in that regard. And and do not become quote unquote stuck in the past or anywhere else. You know, there are times when you will light on a topic or something and you might kind of go back to it several times, and that's because it's a pretty big piece of shit to break down and search for the fucking diamond in it. Sometimes you have big old shit, and sometimes you have little ticket shit type stuff. So that's how it works. So with that, yeah, I'm gonna get on up out of here. Wow, I did 25 minutes. So we did end up doing like a half an hour. And this probably is too long. It taxes people's attention. The vast majority of Americans will claim having attention deficit, an adult attention deficit. People slap these labels on themselves so comfortably. You know, I'll be looking at them like, you know, what are you talking about? What happened? Let's talk. Yeah. So, till next time, I'm going to get on up out here. Yeah, this is my story, a real ghetto story. How about we go out with...
I remember about 80, Jamaica explode when a Trinity and Tony, you with them a run road.
This is Cham, C-H-A-M, Ghetto Story. We're going to go out with... This is a real ghetto story, real raw, coming to you live and in person here at africalive.com. Check it out.
The whole block royal like now. Get through to greed and glutton. Politics manipulation, press your button. But we're rich now, so them can't tell man nothing. Cause we are met my money and fish and mutton. Hey, over there so let me tell you something. To me they offering the water, he kill me cousin. I'm here to keep it at the button, set him button. Anytime we fly down, him I get more dozen. Cause we got the thing now, them out I look now. We speak them and the one of them are drunk. Me a believe I have to now we not drunk. We got the thing then, them a feel real sweet. And we have taken to the wicked and lately. And all the ones who unity and live greatly. I remember those days when hell was my home, when me and mama's head was a big piece of foam, and me never like fade and my ear never come. When mama gonna work me go street for roam. I remember when Danny them get my snow cone and make him lick a bread and then kick up Jerome. I remember when we visit them with pure big stone, and the boy Danny pop out something wet full of chrome. I remember when we run, but I get in the blown, and my best friend with chicken doing I'm gone. I remember Sunny Avenue, some in the war zone, and Mikey mother flying out, cause she get alone. Mikey go to carry on the $10 Capone. Me put sleep on money and take me no one. No one we got lost the city, and that is well known. Yesterday Mikey called up on the phone.
Mr. Mikey!